I'm moving forward every day, Jesus. I just let him lead the way every second, every minute, every hour of the day. I'm moving with Jesus every day, 24/7. With Jesus every day, 24/7. I'm moving with Jesus. I'm moving with Jesus every day.
Yes, could you hold on for a sec? I'm on the phone. You think you want me to? Oh, I think I have to leave. But I can leave. Yes, I can, but just not yet. Or you think I'm addicted. I'm not addicted. I could leave this anytime I wish, just not right now. Oh, you really think I'm addicted? Well, let's find out. Because in studio today we have one of the technological experts or specialists in the person of Andre Charles. But he prefers to be known as DJ Livestrong. He is here to give us some insight as to whether or not we are addicted to our phones and how can we get rid of this addiction. Andre Charles, Livestrong.
Yes, that's my sobriquet for radio.
Well, thank you for joining us. This is the first time you're on JC 24/7.
Yes, and this is long in the making.
Yeah, and what took you so long? What's happening to you?
I don't know. I had Christmas,
Yeah,
and
whatever.
And I was,
Yeah.
I was using my phone.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
well, we are here and we are happy for your time to
I'm
share
glad
with
to be
us.
here too, yeah.
And we want to talk about cell phone addiction. I think it's a question that many parents are asking about relative to their children. First and foremost, tell us a little bit about yourself, about what you do, how you got into this business of technological specialties.
Well, aside from being a DJ on W107.1,
Wow.
heard you there already. I don't know, maybe a few times.
I think I heard you too.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay.
I'm a IT and computer science teacher by trade. That's my government job.
Right.
I would have studied computer science, computer engineering, network management, and I also studied theology. But that wouldn't be the
Help
techie
me,
side.
Jesus.
But hey, we may have another show where where I might be able to flex a little theological muscle. But nah, it's cool, right?
I'll be happy.
But yeah, I'm really steeped in technology, and because of being a teacher, I'm always around young people, and I love young people a lot, and how the world impacts them and whatnot. So when it comes to technology, when I was a child, I used to break apart everything. You know, like the cars that have the little motor in them?
Right.
Right. Once they stop working, what would you do with them?
Right.
Throw it away? No, get a screwdriver. Open it up and see how it's working. So before I even went to any formal training, I knew how to build a computer.
What
just
were you
because.
about?
How old?
Were you then?
I was about 16.
Okay.
But at that point in time, computers weren't mainstream yet. Like 1 in every 5 houses would have had a computer, and I would.
Andre, you don't look so old, man.
Okay, cool.
Okay. All right.
But yeah, so I am very, very steeped in technology. I keep up to date with it, listen to podcasts, I know all the ins and outs. I could do a little bit of hacking and those things.
Me?
No. You see, the thing is, once you learn certain skills, which I always tell people, it's like getting a hammer. If you give somebody a hammer, they could bash somebody's skull or they could build a house.
Okay.
And knowing about technology, you could decide how you want to use it. And my goal is to educate people as much as possible so that they use it effectively for some sort of greater purpose. Yeah.
Are you one of those parents that are under great stress these days concerning the use of cell phones by their children?
Stress? No, I'm smarter than...
Well, I would think so.
Smart
parent.
Yeah, my children, they are 8 and 7.
Right.
But they don't... First of all, they don't know what cable TV is because I would have cut the cable...
Wow.
Like 10 years now.
Wow.
Everything we were watching online or whatnot, right? So they are the Netflix generation where whatever they want, we would look forward to Saturday morning to watch a show.
Right.
And you have to wait till the next Saturday morning to see that show.
Wow.
Right. My children most likely just be like, I want to watch this now.
Right.
Press the button and it will show.
Okay.
And that's how it goes. But in terms of controlling it, there are apps and whatnot. And Oftentimes they can be like, Daddy, why we only get like 15 minutes? Or why my phone telling me that I have to stop now? I say, because I put it that way.
Right.
Because I want you to do something else. You could come back to it, but I want you to do something else. So I'm not having a challenge right now, probably when they join a social media account and I have to be like snooping,
Right.
or be like a fake friend, maybe. But for now, they just consume content and all I have to do is police the content that they're consuming.
It's rather interesting that you are a technological expert or specialist and you are the one that is keeping your kids
Away.
Something has to be wrong with technology.
Well, you know Bill Gates or everybody that's like big in tech, they have very, very strict restrictions on their children.
Wow.
So Bill Gates is one of them. He's an advocate for that. He's an advocate for screen time.
Right.
Screen time is something where you must manage the amount of screen time that your child has because they will get this, they'll have a dissociative complex with the world. They will see the world through what the screen shows them. And interpersonal relations, they will struggle with it because the media that they intake will always portray something that's either perfect or really, really, really broken.
Right.
Because most shows would either show you, you know, you have this perfect marriage, and then the show will flip to this really broken situation.
Right.
But there is no show that consistently gives you a reality of, well, there's good in the world and then there's bad in the world, and well, this is how I interact with it. You only get that from human beings when you interact with them.
Do you see that happening now in our children?
Oh yeah.
I think it's due to the prevalence.
They believe that what is portrayed in music videos, in shows, in movies, they believe that these things are attainable, but no show actually shows you the value of interpersonal relationships and hard work.
Right.
And I believe some report I read a few months ago, which is the amount of introverts have grown because the children literally are afraid of dealing with people now because people are so hard.
Right.
Everything that they encounter in their life right now technologically, they can control.
Right.
But when they meet another human being that they can't control, it's like, I can't press the stop button, I can't press the pause button.
Deliberate by the inventors?
No. The inventor of the internet, he's sad right now. What's his name? I can't remember his name.
Right.
But if you Google the inventor of the internet and you read his speech, he'll say, what I intended back in 1979 is not what is happening right now.
Right.
He was looking for a free-flowing space where information could be shared, gathered, and disseminated and used for the upliftment of humanity.
That is done, but it comes with a price.
Yeah, and that's where the problem came in. Price, money, monopoly, business. So the business of the internet is causing it to become toxic to humanity because people trying to grab as much money as possible from this free and flowing. So think of it like a highway, and you are given the opportunity to set up a toll booth here and there. So the highway is supposed to be free, but you know, everybody said, okay, we'll get a chance to, you know, block this road, block that road. And everybody says, all right, I'm going to make the biggest toll booth ever. And then I'll make a deal with this other person's toll booth so we share information and whatnot. And now the highway has become a place where you have to pay so much. There will be so much penalties for driving on it. And worse yet, they're making money off of the toll booth, but they're not trying to maintain the roads, if you were to analogize it to a road. So they're causing many pitfalls, but everybody's taking a step back and be like, that's not my fault. The internet is free. They are just choosing to come into my bad place. But companies now are being challenged to take responsibility for their role in certain things. So like the feature for lives, right? Like Facebook Live, Instagram Live, YouTube Live or whatnot. They're supposed to be like funny videos, uplifting videos, motivational, but these lives are being used for like suicides now. Or for mass shootings, to the point now where you have to hire people to monitor every single upload, and they have to watch the video through to determine if it should be taken down or not. And these people are suffering from PTSD because they're watching suicide videos as a job.
PTSD is?
Post-traumatic stress disorder. Yes, yeah.
There you go.
And they basically, their job is to sit down and watch people commit suicide every day and click and say, no, take that down, take that down, take that down. And that's just where it's gotten to.
Wow.
And we still see the internet as utopia. which is like, oh, just go on the internet. Yeah, we need to get the children on the internet. We need them to, there's so much information, and I believe that.
Schools encourage the use of internet. I mean, I have daughters that are always on the internet because they get homework on the internet.
Yeah.
They have to research stuff on the internet. Is this serving a good purpose?
It's definitely serving a good purpose.
Right.
The problem is, just like how sex education used to be for teenagers, but now you have to take sex education down to primary school, internet education or technology education can't just be for teenagers alone, because the way it's progressed so fast that back in 1999, technology education would have been good enough for a teenager because it wasn't going that fast. But now technology education should start from age 5.
Yeah, but it's one thing to say it must start from age 5. Well, what is going to be the curriculum and who's going to be the tutor?
Exactly.
Just as sex education.
Exactly.
That same question.
Right. So in order to know what the curriculum is, you need to know what you want to accomplish.
Right.
And if the original goal of the internet was the free sharing of information to uplift or make things better, then you should be able to build that back to be able to let a child know, all right, when you go on the internet, you shouldn't go and comment on somebody's picture saying that they are fat or they are ugly or whatnot, because that is bullying, because we will teach them about physical bullying, but we won't teach them about cyberbullying. And by the time they reach 11, 12, 13, the horse has bolted.
Okay, fine. If you were one of the tutors that would go around to schools, primary schools, to teach or give education, what would be some of the things you would definitely include in your curriculum?
The first thing that a child must know is that they are interacting with another human being.
That's providing they're speaking on one of the social networks.
Yes, social media, yes. Social media will definitely be almost the first thing that you'll have to do, because a lot of people see themselves on the internet behind a wall of anonymity. And because of that, I can do whatever I want. And the other person on the other side is not going to be affected. But the other person on the other side is a human. And if I do them whatever I want, I face no recourse, but I may be damaging them. And that's one major thing I believe that everybody should understand, because we see the internet as technology, but it's actually technology connecting humanity. And if you don't understand that humanity is on both sides, then you'll end up becoming...
I know this might be a personal question, and we may have to come back to answer it. At what age should a parent give a child a cell phone?
At what age should it? Okay.
Well, not what age the parent should be.
Yeah.
The child should be.
Giving them a cell phone to do what? Okay, consume media. You could give them it from age 3, because don't they watch TV? If they're going to get a device that they're going to consume media on, then you can control the media that they consume, just like how you control a TV. After consumption of media, then you get to activities. The activities that they'll most likely want to do is play games. Playing those games would be like, I don't know, like the age when morality starts to kick in and you understand what is a good game or what is a bad game, 8, 9, thereabout. And then after, then they're going to want to use it to socialize. Socialization now is going to take place when you start to understand interpersonal relationships, which is around 13, 14 maybe.
What you're saying, essentially, regardless of what age you decide to give the child a phone, the person who is giving the phone must be able to manage what...
Oh, yes, yes, because it's parenting.
We pause there. We have so much to talk about. We have not even started to talk about cell phone addiction, but we'll be right back. Stay tuned. Get addicted and come back.
One goal should be to keep marijuana out of the hands of children and youth. To prevent accidental poisoning, one would need to be cautious about edible forms of marijuana such as brownies. There would need to be guidelines for labeling and packaging to ensure that they are not mistaken for regular food products. In addition, there would need to be mandatory childproof packaging for these products to avoid unintended exposure for young children.
Get on the right track and save a life. It could very well be your own.
Teenagers should really never, ever put that substance in their body. Marijuana abuse reduces your world. It shrinks your world. And it snatches from you something that teenagers must have, and that's ambition.
Right.
You know, marijuana abuse snatches that from you.
Get on the right track and save a life. It could very well be your own.
I'm here with Andre Charles, a technology expert or specialist, otherwise known as DJ Livestrong. When we took the break, Livestrong or Charles or Andre, whatever you want to call yourself today, we were talking about the whole issue of the parents and their education along the lines of cell phones when they distribute the cell phones. Could you elaborate a little bit on that? Because you are saying that before a parent distributes a phone to his or her child, they must be aware of what the phone can do,
Right.
shouldn't do.
Okay, I'll use an analogy.
Right.
If your child comes and says, Mommy, Daddy, I want to go and sleep over
Right.
by this person.
Right.
The first thing the parent is going to do is be like, who is that?
Who is the person, yeah?
Where do they go? Where
Right.
do they live? How you get to know this friend?
I must know who the person is
you
as well.
Know who the person is. I
Right.
must have met you and whatnot.
Right.
You would always know what the end goal is because you want to avoid certain things.
Of course.
Same thing with the phone. If you're going to give it to a child, you must know, okay, if the child is going to use this for media consumption, I know that I'm going to control the media that the
Right.
child consumes.
Right.
Because media consumption is necessary.
Right.
It's just that before it used to be a TV,
Right.
but now they will most likely do it from a device.
Right.
And we can't control it.
Right.
So any walk of life that the
Right.
child is in, till they get to an adult,
Right.
parent has to know what the child is going to be, the perils of what they're going to
Right.
do.
And you're saying there are things a parent could do.
Oh, yes.
Right.
There are many things,
Right.
and it all comes down to education.
Right.
And once a parent is educated as to what is out there, their decisions will always be.
I'm sure there are a number of parents who are saying, hey, I want to know. What can they do, Andre? Are there things that you do facilitate to help parents in this regard?
I do seminars for parents at schools. Like in my school,
Right.
Every year when the new Form 1 parents come, I am given the responsibility to let them know about the
Right.
things that their child they will be facing from
Right.
Form 1. So I have these workshops,
Right.
and I usually do them when school is out.
Okay.
And they could probably check the website, or they
Okay.
could check me on Facebook at Make Information Technology Simple.
Right.
Make It Simple TT. Those are my handles. You'll probably see them on.
Make it simple, TT.
Make IT simple.
Or make
TT.
IT simple,
But
TT.
yeah.
Right. It should appear on the screen, so don't worry. I just want to be sure.
It's,
Make IT simple.
yeah, make IT simple because
Only Livestrong could do that.
I just want people to understand
Right.
that it's not a complicated process.
Yes.
You can understand it. You don't need to be a computer scientist.
Right.
And once you understand it, just a small degree,
Right.
your decisions will change drastically because you will now be able to avoid the pitfalls
Right.
and promote the merits.
Beautiful.
more. Yeah.
Now the child has the phone, but the child is addicted. But the child refuses to accept that he's addicted.
Yeah.
Of course, which addicted person will say, I'm addicted? How do you know, how does a person go about declaring that somebody's addicted to phone?
Okay, so do you remember when you got your first television at home?
Are you saying I'm addicted to television? Are you saying that?
Ask him.
You on my program, be careful. Yeah, I could recall to some
Right.
extent.
There was a little stigma about the television.
Right.
Because they believe people would get lost in the tube.
Right.
They believe that people will just sit down and watch it over and over
Right.
and over and over and over. And they'll end up becoming a couch potato.
Right.
And in the early 90s up to late 90s, television shows, their goal was to make you stay there. So they will go from what there will be prime time slots. So you have your favorite show, then you have a next favorite show, and a next favorite show,
Right.
next favorite show. And as the day goes on, and then you would have these soap operas during the day or whatnot.
Have
Because,
mercy.
yes, it's made to keep you watching it.
Wow.
Right, in 2008, mobile viewing, right? Viewing videos on a mobile phone
Right.
surpassed television.
Okay.
So people watch more things on their phone, more content on their phone
Right.
than they do on a TV now.
Right.
So now the evil tube is no longer evil.
Wow.
They actually want people to go back and watch TV.
Right.
Now people are like this
Right.
instead of sitting down like this.
Beautiful.
But it's the same concept.
Right.
So addiction to a phone is because the content that you see is appealing.
Right.
Just like our television.
Why is it appealing? Because, I mean, if it's on the television, why can't I be glued to the television instead of my phone?
Oh, it's mobile.
That's right.
With a television, you have to stay in a fixed location and other people see what you look at on a mobile phone. No one else sees but you holding your phone.
Right.
And that level of privacy, that level of secrecy breeds many, many different things.
Right.
Because now you are going to communicate in secret, you're going to look at things in secret, you're going to ingest, you're going to create content, and you're just going to feel like you have power.
Right.
And the mobile phone gives you the power of individuality.
Wow.
Individualism. Like, I own this device. This device serves me and me alone. And everybody wants something that they could control.
But I could put it down, man. I mean, at some point there must be something that says, I've had enough.
Right. You could put it down, and then what? Submit to who? Your phone is totally submissive to you.
Okay.
It does what you say. It goes where your finger points it to. When you put it down and go by a human and you tell the human, go and get me some water, it'll be like, no, I am not your phone. Right. I'm not your slave. But it's the same concept. The mobile phone, in my humble opinion, gives you autonomy with your life. And people want that. People feel like that makes them.
So is it that you're saying that the phone is submissive to you, but is it that we make the phone our master?
Our master. Right.
Okay.
Yes. Yes. So because we see this phone as our central point of freedom, it's actually us being enslaved to it.
Okay.
Because it'll be like an oxymoron, but you're enslaved to your freedom.
Right. I hear you.
It could go in many different.
Wow. How does one know that he's addicted? I mean, addiction is a very strong word. I mean, I just use it for entertainment, for leisure time, but I'm not really addicted. How do you know I'm addicted? How can somebody know?
When addiction would be classified in many different ways, depending on like if it's substance abuse or whatnot. But when it comes to interacting with a phone, when you have to interact with people and you find yourself not wanting to put in any extra effort with respect to dealing with the real world, and you go to a virtual world, you're addicted. When your virtual world gives you more value than your...
And more pleasure at the same time.
More value and more pleasure than your physical world.
Wow.
So there are many social implications, and you could go along the lines of sociology and reach to different theories. But the point is, I rather the digital world than the physical world. And me, I would struggle with it. With all my education and with all my knowledge, I rather send somebody a message than speak to somebody. Because when I speak to somebody, I have to deal with your facial expressions, I have to deal with your body language, I have to deal with you disagreeing with me.
But I'm getting to know you. I'm getting to understand you. And it limits. In fact, I may take a shorter time to say what I would have said on my phone.
Exactly. That's true. But you won't get the chance to get the feeling of communication the way that we are intended to communicate. You understand what I'm saying? Eye contact, physical features or whatnot. You don't get, and that's the whole reason why emojis were invented. Because text wasn't just not good enough. And now they want to create emotion in your messaging.
Ridiculous. That's totally ridiculous.
And now it's basically saying, okay, I don't want the actual, real, physical face, but I want to give you a virtual one to convey my emotion. But communication is so based.
So are we raising a society of, or a community of societal misfits, so to speak?
Have raised.
Have mercy. Yeah, because I mean, it's almost ironic. Well, it is ironic that we have better ways to stay in touch. But we are out of touch.
Oh yes.
With the people that we don't even touch.
I am a teacher, and I know these children. If there was someday we were doing interview skills. I was teaching them. When you go to an interview, make sure you make eye contact with whoever is interviewing you. Because you need to exhibit confidence. They have no idea how to make eye contact with somebody, like how I'm looking at you in your eye with them. And we just cool. They will look away and they will look down and be like, so why are you staring me? Why are you staring me down? And I say, I'm not staring you down, I'm making eye contact because I want to communicate with you. But they don't know about it And they much rather send messages. No, sending messages in and of itself is not a bad thing because you could communicate a lot faster. But the dependence on it, and I'm using messages as a short example, but the dependence on receiving your content from here and whatnot and all that stuff, it'll get unhealthy.
Andre, I mean, this may even sound a bit pessimistic, but I've been to several seminars here in Trinidad and Tobago and even abroad, in the US and UK, and the cell phone is here to stay. Social media is here to stay. Is there hope for us? Because it seems like this is going to be our modus operandi for the next how many generations? And we seem not to be getting any better at it. We have all these gadgets and all these forms of communication, but we are not able to communicate intelligibly. How can we help society? If this is here to stay, is there hope out of this experience? Okay, so education again is always my go-to. But we have missed a window. You see the window from 2000 to about 2010. That group there didn't know what technology was going to become. So anybody who was born in that time there, they are kind of like not damaged goods, but they're going to need to have some retroactive things done. So anybody that's probably around 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22 now, they're going to have a quandary in terms of, wait, why are they telling me I have to use technology like this now? Because we figured out what happened in that gap. But the set from 2010 up, which would be like now 10-year-olds or whatnot, we figured out what some of the problems are. So we could fix that problem, and they could learn that communication, it's physical and it's digital. And when you do communicate digitally, like I said in the previous segment, you have to understand that there's a human on the other side. And it's here to stay. But if we educate them from young, like with most things, we might be able to use it a little better. And it's starting to happen. Andre, we are sadly out of time. You have to promise to come back. You have to promise to come back. In fact, I'm promising you to come back. But is there a way to conclude this with the intervention of God? How can God help us deal with this?
God helps us deal with this in two ways. In the original garden, God came down and he used to walk in the cool of the day, you know what I was saying in scriptures, and they would talk. God could have stayed from heaven and shouted his message. And Adam and Eve would have been like, oh, he's sending a message. No, God came and communicated. So we need to understand that communion with God was communion between beings was always intended. And then the second one is to understand that, well, what Jesus did is Jesus came and he brought back that communion and communication. So we have to make sure that we understand that communication, whether it be technological or physical, it's about the human connection and also with God.
Thank you so much, Andre. And we have so much more to discuss. I'm assuring you there's going to be a part 2 to this experience as we look at the whole question of technology. Andre said it best and said it so well. I am so glad that God did not text his love to Calvary or he voice noted himself to Calvary. No, he came himself. The word became flesh and dwelt among us because God wanted to be touched with the feelings of our infirmity. Right now, he's being touched with your situation. He knows what you're going through. He knows where you are and where you are meant to be. Why not spend time communicating to God? No, put down the cell phone. Put it right now, put it down and talk to God. He wants to hear your voice. He doesn't want to hear the gadgets made by man. He wants to hear the voice that he made. Talk to him right now. He's available 24/7. See you next time.